Okay, so Moshe Milevsky have said that some people, their human capital looks like a bond, and some people's human capital looks more like a stock. So you said that someone in financial services probably looks like someone who has a human capital that is more risky, that goes up and down more, it looks more like a stock. And then what would be an example of someone whose human capital would look like a bond?
Someone who works for the government.
So that they're basically going to get the same income every year. It might go up by a couple percent if they get a raise, but it's probably not going to bounce around all over the place, and they're probably not going to lose their job. So for someone whose human capital looks like a bond, how would you incorporate that into their portfolio recommendations?
Well, so there's kind of dual impacts here. There's risk capacity and there's risk preference, right? So human capital is about risk capacity. How much risk should I take in my portfolio given all of my stuff, right? So if I have a very safe asset where my human capital is very bond-like, I can afford to take more risk in my portfolio. So I should have a very aggressive glide path in the scheme of things. However, someone who works for the government may also have maybe risk adverse because they've chosen a profession that is not as risk-seeking. So collectively, the risk of your human capital should affect your portfolio in that if I have a safe job, I can be more aggressive in my portfolio and vice versa.
Okay, so not only do you have to consider the facts of the situation, which the facts are some people's earnings are more risky, some people's earnings are safer, but it may be that the person who has the riskier earnings actually prefers to take more risk also with their investment. So you really have to maybe talk them into taking less risk with their investment. Is that the right thing to do?
Yeah, I think so. I think that that when building portfolios, at least at Morningstar, we look at both dimensions. There's capacity, what you should take, and there's preference. And we always start with capacity. Like that's kind of the base decision, which is, how much risk should you take in your portfolio given all of your stuff? And then we kind of, we adjust that on the margin based upon your preference for taking on risk.